Yes, the Solomon Islands were to really turn in an extraordinary performance and win by 10, 15 goals, but let's not just already too carried away with ourselves.
Already noticing that great transition as Modbarin takes a break. That great transition into the fence by Malaysia, so quick. Solomon's pressing high now. And on that occasion, it's effective. Back with Stevenson and Talo, and also follow something of a talisman for Kuru.
Well, he's got to play the role vacated by James Egerton, in my opinion, just to keep everything ticking over.
Yep, that's it. He's sitting in there in that fixer spot. He needs to have a break though, and it's going to be Ragomo that checks in to take that over. But already unfamiliar seeing Elliot at the back of the court like that, so obviously missing Egerton.
Away by Anthony Talo.
Could be a good thing for Ragomo. I think he lacks the pace of perhaps 2 or 3 years ago when he was at his brilliant best. He's struggled with illness. He contracted malaria before the World Cup, and he's struggling with a knee injury as well. And not as electric, doesn't get quite the number of goals, but still one of the smartest players you'll ever meet. And perhaps as the ball is lashed wide, perhaps Ragomo will play more of a role as a fixer for Solomon Islands. But there he is up at the pivot, looking to link up with Vasily.
Left, it's Linton Vasily, now George Stevenson. There's a real appetite about the Solomon Islands tonight. It was lacking in the opening game. They've rediscovered that luster they've got for this form of football. And Malaysia getting a real test. That's a nice pass. Topo into the side rigging.
Quite a contrast to the earlier game, Gordon. I guess we've mentioned it before, but quicker, more technical, and Pagono just protesting that yellow card.
Well, Elliot Ragomo's protesting his innocence. And the referee under scrutiny here. Dixon Caddo's angry, and there's an exchange going on down in front of the benches. This is pretty unsavoury. Well, the match descending into controversy that we didn't really need to.
It's not often you see Dixon Caddo like that, Gordon. Very mild-mannered man. He's obviously pretty hot under the collar. I didn't see it actually, but Ragomo too, pretty fired up. But they just got to get on with it here. They're doing okay, Solomon Islands. They haven't scored yet, but they're playing a lot better than they have earlier in the week. So just keep their composure and defend the free kick and just get back to business.
Mohammed and Abdul Qadir stand over the ball. Good save by Taylor. That's technically perfect. Now if the Solomon Islands can channel this energy positively. Vasily.
Great ball by Whitney there. Nice feet and a nicely angled pass into Linson Vasily.
Vasily. Macau. Whitney. Punch wide to Vasily. Whitney keeps going, then checks off. That might be a corner. Well, effectively a kick in, so more or less the same outcome. Whitney with a shot, takes a deflection off Nizam Mod Ali. Gomo flashes wide.
Osafello back in.
Zahari, Abdul Qadir, Mohammed, Abdul Qadir again, Mod Ali. That pass cut out by Lenson Basili. Real frenetic energy just fizzing through this clash.
Yeah, the best quality game we've had so far, I think, in this tournament, Gordon. Just even though we've only had 7 minutes. That cute Osafello. They're definitely missing a yard of pace, but still quality all the same. How can they conjure up here? Osafello dropping into the fixer. This is him on the ball now with Whitney on the near side.
And the header from Ngomo was perfunctory at best. It's not much of a target to aim at for the Solomon Islands skipper. Jeffrey Boulay into the fray. Tell you what, Paul, I think the Solomon Islands side is more than a match for Malaysia.
Definitely, I think they've got the edge here. I think they're, not back at their best, but certainly starting to find their rhythm again.
Oh, hits the frame of the goal. Anthony Taylor wasn't happy that the shot managed to get as far as it did. Osafello. Leo Laffa, well, you almost don't want him to get the ball in that area. Becomes a bit of a dice roll for you, as you say, taking the good with the bad. Whitney's through ball for Leo Laffa got tangled up in the feet of Mohammed and ended up in the hands of Mod Tawfiq, the goalkeeper. Leo Laffa taking on Abdul Qadir. Switch to Whitney. That's a good first time pass. It just needed a touch.
Magnificent vision from Whitney to play the first time ball. You wouldn't meet many players that would do that. Most guys would take a touch, but he picked out Boulay at the far post, and unfortunately Jeffrey couldn't apply the finishing touch.
Well, the Solomons, on the basis of chances created, well, arguably they could be 3 up. They've just got to keep going, and they've got to keep faith that this newfound spirit and application to the task will eventually yield goals.
They've been in these situations before. They're experienced. They know what it's like to have to score goals. You can think just of the OFC Futsal Championship final 2011 when they were 4-1 down against Tahiti. Managed to conjure up 5 goals very quickly. And I just sense that Malaysia just struggling a little bit with the pace and the movement of this fired-up Kurikuru side, who don't want to waste their journey to Auckland. They may not qualify for the semi-final, but they sure want to give futsal fans a treat. And I think this will be the best game we've seen in New Zealand in futsal, perhaps ever. Just the quality of the two sides.
Whitney, Gomo almost caught out. He had an option to his left. Mika Leo Laffa had a word to his skipper after that ball went out from over here. Ambia and Abdul Qadir.
They've definitely knocked the Malaysians off their rhythm.
Leo Laffa. Whitney. Well, I've seen him pull that trick off a number of times. He struggled to execute it this time.
A couple of interested spectators on the other side. I see Scott Gilligan and his assistant Felipe Bernardi. They won't be wanting to miss this, just from not so much to follow the result, but just from a pure futsal point of view, as Ngomo drags it wide.
Well, the Solomon Islands have really fired up for this, but they don't want to get too fired up. If Malaysia had got their counter-attacking spot on here, Boulay and Ragoma would have been caught high up the court, and that counter-attack would have really favoured Malaysia. Boulay. Another feature for some of these attacks for the Solomon Islands. Ragoma is taking up some great positions, but his teammates aren't picking him out.
Yeah. Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney. He could take a risk there. Now,
counter loses the ball again. Well defended.
Whitney with a chance. Ragoma. Oh, and the Solomons again denied. This time by Hadi Motelfig, the goalkeeper.
Yes, Ragoma often likes to try and lift the ball over the keeper, and it didn't work on that occasion, and then he poked it wide on the second attempt.
Yes, Jeffrey Boulay was caught running into Abdul Qadir with his hands up and just gave him a push. Referee got that one spot on. Modali. Fadzil. Abdul Qadir. Midway through the first half. Malaysia 0, Solomon Islands 0. Jeffrey Boulay. It's asking a bit much of Elliot Ragoma. And he was forced into a sliding tackle. Yeah, Lafa for Boulay. And the ball is out, but only just. Boulay funneling back into defence from Ambia. Fadzil. Ambia, here's the shot, high over the top. Nisa Modali is injected into proceedings for Malaysia. Here's improvised clearance by Mod Taufik, the goalkeeper. Lea Lafa. Still going, Lea Lafa takes it on the back of the neck, but that just would have been extraordinary.
Yeah, it was still nice anyway, wasn't it?
Well, he caught a sight of it out of the corner of his eye and then had a go at it, but it was just a fraction of a second too fast for him. But had he had that fraction of a second, I would back him to have produced something quite remarkable.
Yeah, for sure.
So, timeout, and how do you view this?
Well, I think it's an encouraging start for the Solomons. They've knocked the Malaysians off their rhythm. They've dictated the play a lot. I think Losafello, Whitney, Ragoma, they're experienced players, plenty on their mind. It's a stiff task trying to qualify for the semi-final, but I think their opening 12 minutes, they may not have scored, but they've been on top. So I think they just have to stay patient. Malaysia, not as much to play for tonight. They're already going to finish top of the group, and that little bit of a psychological edge missing tonight for Malaysia after putting New Zealand to the sword. Those little details can be quite important when you come to a game like this. And Solomons, they can score one or two before half time. You wouldn't rule out them running rampant in the second half, but just nice to see, I think, for the futsal fans that have heard so much about this side, that they're at least playing a heck of a lot better than they did over the last couple of days.
Macau teed it up, and save from Hadi Motalfiq allows Malaysia to launch their own attack. Here's Mohammed. Now Fadzil.
A lot more stray passes tonight from Malaysia, Gordon. Just showing the difference in the quality of the opposition.
Well, they are missing Shamsul Zamri and Abu Hassan. They were very impressive, I must say, during the first 2 games of the tournament for Malaysia.
They were, weren't they? And yeah, it's just managing that bench with only 7 outfield players available to them tonight. Solomons, of course, with Igeta missing. Great ball by Stevenson there.
Macau. He ambled over Coleman Macau, but it's gone his way. Oh, and it's just wide of the post from Mikalia Lapa. Solomon Islands have got to start hitting the back of the net.
Yeah, and looking at that ability again of Lea Lafa in a 1v1. It's something special, isn't it?
Well, it's difficult to fathom if you were to have dropped in from out of town and witnessed this game, to reconcile tonight's performance from the Pili with that of match day 1. It's a completely different energy about this team, and it might be too little too late. In terms of making the semi-finals, but we'll see. This narrative could go in any direction.
I think interesting also to acknowledge that New Zealand did a very good job on Tuesday night. They had a game plan, they defended very well and were organised. Solomons perhaps fresh off the plane, great ball there.
Oh, it's an own goal. Sammy Osafello has turned a Kairu Modbarin cross into his own net, and that is the penalty you pay when you don't take your chances. And a real let-off for Malaysia. And a hard luck story for the Solomons. No need to press the panic button just yet, but certainly a hammer blow for Dixon Cadow's team, who were playing so well. Chance. Oh, Lea Lafa has been caught out. Solomons have been caught out. Modbarin, the toe poke, high into the roof of the net, and Malaysia double the lead.
And once again, Lea Lafa just getting caught in his own half. It's happened I can think of 3 times actually in this tournament, and well, I don't need to go on about it because we've talked about it a lot, what a brilliant player he is, but really, when you take someone on in your own half, you cannot afford to lose the ball.
So the gap widens, and the hopes of Solomon Islands of reaching the semi-finals also grow slightly more distant. Jeffrey Boulay, they trail 2-0 in a match where they could arguably have been 4-0 up at one point. And they don't want to lose their way, because this Malaysian side, as depleted as it is without Abu Hassan and Shamsul Zamri, are still something to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with.
Tana Whaarodo is on Gordon, number 6.
He hasn't had as much game time as I thought he might. It looks as though he's got a knee injury on the left leg. But as you also mentioned, he's relatively new to this form of football. Brother of Henry Whaarodo, the well-known Solomon Islands football international. Boulay. Whitney. Headed clear by Fadzil. Vincent Basili. Jack Whitney.
Solomon's potentially heading for a battle with Vanuatu tomorrow, I think, Gordon.
Yes, that's
an interesting one.
Consolation for us.
Flying keepers on.
And Barodo's shot, his volley was target. Futsal, ambient. Well, the animation down on the Malaysian bench is equally as colourful as in the Solomons. The technical director, Coelho.
Yes, we were saying he was Spanish. Well, I was anyway, but looking to him last night, he's most definitely Brazilian.
Yes, he's a high energy character, as you would expect of somebody from futsal background in Brazil. Goma. Nothing to lose for the Solomons. Need to do something to get back into this match. There's the kick from Mod Tawfiq. Looking to catch the flying goalkeeper out of position. Whitney to Sealy. Well, the Solomons are starting to, for want of a better word, cheat. They're leaving one player high up beyond the Malaysian quartet from time to time, and looking to absorb the counter-attack with just 3 outfield players and then maybe catch Malaysia out with a throw from the keeper. Oh! That is a disaster for the Solomon Islands, and joy for Khairul Modbaring. 3-0 to Malaysia.
So Talon must have got a touch from that kick in, otherwise it wouldn't have counted. And it just goes from bad to worse. Got a feel for the Kuru. Made a bright start, but just hasn't gone their way this trip to Auckland. And just a sense a seismic shift in the power base of futsal, but it's how they'll bounce back from this difficult week that they've had that will count. They've definitely got the talent. They've shown on the world stage that they can foot it with the best, beating the 14th ranked in the world Guatemala at the last World Cup. They beat Thailand 4-3. But just not going their way. But hopefully they can salvage something tonight and come out and play with the flair and character that we know that they have. Unfortunate for Tallow.
Well, yes, and the next time they play futsal won't be treating fair, because I don't think that Solomon's Kurikuru, if there was any element of complacency, will be experiencing that sensation prior to taking on the Kiwis. They've been shown what can happen when Scott Gilligan is at the wheel of an opponent. They get well organised, well drilled. Here's Mod Ali, about to play for a free kick. Mod Ali, won it actually, see. Hadi Mod Tawfiq opting for the somewhat unconventional headed clearance. 2 minutes 23 seconds to go. Malaysia 3, Solomon Islands 0. Flying goalkeeper being employed. It's Elliot Ragomo in the number 3, fluorescent number 3 jersey. Oh, good save. Leah Lafa was lurking, and another save from Hadi Mod Tawfiq. Leah Lapa, nice touch, Whitney's missed it. Jack Whitney with the goal at his mercy. He just leaned back and the ball followed the trajectory that it was locked into once the technique had been chosen, and it went high over the bar. Osifello. Elliot Rigomo back to Osifello. Leo Lafa. Solomon's probing for an opening. Goodness knows they have created plenty of those. They just haven't had the ruthlessness in front of goal that tonight has demanded of them. Osifello, that's a wild one, and Leo Lafa. Well, it would be interesting, Paul, to get the views of the technical study group and tally up the shot count here, because I dare say the Solomon Islands would be threatening double figures.
Yeah, I'll pop downstairs at half-time, Gordon, and have a look. But yeah, just a bit of misery really for the Kuru. Been some magical little spells, but just coming unstuck, not finishing, and same in football, you know, you have to take your chances.
Michael Mokarin, chance to show his skills.
Modbarine won't be far away from that all-star team, will he, Gordon, that we once we finally settle on it. He's had a good week.
Yes, he's a wonderful player. I'm also a fan of Shamsul Zambi, who's not playing tonight.
Yes. He's the number 4.
Yes, he's a busy character. He's always in search of work. Deadly from inside the D. And also a very creative force in this Malaysian unit. Mod Ali with Modbarine. Mod Ali keeps his run going. Leo Lafa getting between Mod Ali and the ball. 48 seconds on the clock in the first half. Malaysia 3, Solomon Islands 0. Talo with the clearance. Good save. Leo Lafa going on a mazy run. Shut down by Abdul Qadir. Oh, it's frantic stuff, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it is. Leo Lafa doing well to win the ball back there, but once again taking people on and losing out.
Seconds to go in the first half. Khairul Modbarine. That is half time here at Trust Stadium Arena in Henderson. It's Malaysia 3, Solomon Islands 0. We'll take a break and rejoin us for the second half in 7 minutes' time. Okay, yes, there is. Okay, ciao. Welcome back, everybody. Half time has come and gone. The two coaches have had their final say with their players, and it's Malaysia 3, the Solomon Islands 0. And an exciting 20 minutes to bring to you to close off match day 3. Don't go anywhere. 2 goals for Khairul Modberin and an own goal separate the two teams. And Paul, is there a way back for the Solomon Kurukuru?
Yeah, I think there's always hope when you have a side of the calibre of Kurukuru. Things haven't gone their way. They certainly haven't taken their chances in the first half, and a couple of errors that have sort of been, I guess, a problem on this trip to New Zealand. Ialafa giving the ball away, Talo with an uncharacteristic error letting the ball through his legs, I think it was, from the kick in, but no, you wouldn't rule it out. It's been a good first half. Solomons have had 16 shots to Malaysia's 14, but it's just the clinical finishing, I guess, of Malaysia that means they take this 3-0 lead. But hopefully Solomons can score early and get back into it, because they've played well enough to be on an equal footing with this Malaysian side.
Abdul Qadir. Mohammed and Khairul Modberin's shot was scooped rather than hit through the ball, and you saw the end result. Ialafa, Samiosa fellow, George Stevenson. Very strong on the ball, George Stevenson. Shot straight at Hadi Modtawfiq. He's a fierce competitor, Hadi Modtawfiq. A couple of times when the Solomons have missed chances, he's not been too shy to let his opponents know. You might want to check that 1 or 2 times depending on who he's paying out on. Some of these Solomon Island players are fierce competitors as well, and they won't forget in a hurry when they're being wound up. Oh, Ialafa.
Good defending from Malaysia. Ialafa was away and he had Ragomo on this near side, and they did just enough to keep the Solomon Islands at bay.
Stevenson for Osafello, now Ragomo. Well, he's a man who's just struggling with his fitness at the moment, Elliot Ragomo, and he showed there. Ialafa. Ragomo. And off target. The shot count climbing. But it's goals on the board that make the most difference, and at the moment Solomon Kurukuru haven't got one. Four shots alone in the second half already, inside 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Here's Modberin. He's taken out by George Stevenson. Every time Khairul Modberin gets the ball, it's action stations.
Jack Whitney back in. Uncharacteristic to see Ragomo only on for 2 minutes. Perhaps just struggling with that knee injury. And Igita, as we've mentioned, missing tonight for Solomons, and I feel like they've missed him.
Yes, definitely. Osafello is almost like for like, but not quite the same quality.
Yeah, and just having that option to switch them out so one can take a break. Osafello's had quite a bit of court time. He's a really classy playmaker, but I also like seeing him on the flank so he can cut in and have a go with that devastating left foot of his. He scored a lot of goals for Solomons over the last year or so.
Oh, and a late swing by Sammy Osafello. And Khairul Mabarin wasn't happy with it. Osafello wants to continue the debate. There was no need for it. Jack Whitney's trying to add his input.
Just more frustration for Kurukuru. Things not going their way with Colin McCall on court.
Well, it's a distraction that the Solomons don't need, and they don't need to fuel the fire of that sort of confrontation. They've got a task in front of them that needs to be undertaken as a priority, and sorting out personal vendettas has got to come low down the list. Stevenson saved by Taufik.
The important block there by Macau as well, because Malaysia were away.
Stevenson. Osafello. Whitney. Nice move by Whitney. Oh, that's lovely. Jack Whitney at his best. The shot.
The retained finish, but lovely work there by Jack Whitney.
A little tap with the outside of the right foot, and it took it through as a nutmeg. Meanwhile, at the other end of the court, Simi Zahari on the counter-attack.
Just talking at half-time, Gordon, with some of the guys in the technical study group, just about Solomon Islands and where they're at. It's been a difficult week for them, but I guess if they're looking towards 2016 and trying to qualify for their third consecutive World Cup, it's better to have a hiccup now, 2 years out, much like people were talking about Spain against Brazil in the Confederations Cup. Interesting to see if Solomons can learn from this experience.
Too late. Well, that just about sums up the tournament for the Solomon Islands. Elliot Rigomo unable to get the shot on target. Like in all forms of football though, and futsal in particular, goals can come in quick succession, and with the number of chances that are being created by the Solomons, you get the feeling that they're going to score tonight.
Yeah.
Yellow card for Linson Basili.
Yeah, it's a fine line. I mean, we talk about it being a frustrating night for them, but on another night, maybe 4 or 5 would have gone in, and we'd all be talking about how they're back to their best.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's just some subtle details missing. I'm not sure Elliot's at his best. We've seen a bit of magic from Jack Whitney and certainly from Leolafa. Just a couple of errors and maybe some fine-tuning and a bit more game time, and it wouldn't be too long before they
Mohammed and an opportunity, and it just scrapes the crossbar from Zahari. Yes, you're quite right. Probably a bigger concern for Dixon Caddo would be if the Solomons hadn't created any chances.
That's
and
right.
At least they are getting into these positions to cause Malaysia some headaches. It's been far from easy for Malaysia. Here is Zahari. Oh, and it's in off the inside of the post.
Good finish.
Azmi Zahari. And the semi-finals now starting to look a long shot for the Solomon Islands. Malaysia in cruise mode they can afford to almost relax. They're not quite there yet, but it's looking good.
Yeah, they're not going to concede 8 goals anyway, I don't think, which I think is what Solomon need to trouble New Zealand for that last spot in the semi-final.
Another shot goes wide. Yes, quite right. New Zealand now looking at a semi-final with Australia. And Malaysia are going to shape up against Tahiti. So Jeffrey Goulet.
I'm going to throw it out there, Gordon. I'm going for a Australia-Tahiti final. Though I think if Malaysia played Australia, they'd beat them. It's just my thoughts off the top of my head.
Yes, no, I can understand the logic of that. We've seen a different match chemistry thrown up when you have different ingredients. If you know where I'm heading with this, Solomon Islands have looked a far better team playing against the technical side. New Zealand looked better than the Solomons, yet when they played New Caledonia it was pretty hard on the eyes in terms of technical purity.
Yeah, and when Malaysia played New Zealand last night, well, there was only one team in it.
Exactly, and here in Malaysia you couldn't say they've had it all their own way.
No.
They lead 4-0, but it could easily have been 4 each. So the Trust Arena turning into a futsal laboratory. Ambia. Lea Lafa, Rigomo. Osafelo for Lea Lafa. Rigomo. Chance for Rigomo. Ferodo. Oh well, that was not what the Solomons needed. There's been no significant damage incurred by that mistake. Montgomery straight to Ferodo. Chance for the Solomons.
Great defending. No way through for Kurukuru. Lea Lafa checks in on the ball now.
Oh, and that's straight to Mohammed. Might try a toe poke here. Good recovery from Lea Lafa. Fellow shot hit Ferodo in the rib cage. Still with the Solomon Kurukuru. Lea Lafa with a toe poke. Just not their night tonight. Solomon's Kurukuru. Got them knocking on the door, but the answer is not the one they've been desperately dreaming of. 2 balls on course at the moment. Play will be stopped until that is sorted out.
Rigomo looking for his flying goalkeeper shirt. Slipping it on now.
Oh, good shot on the turn by George Stevenson, and an equally admirable save by Hadi Motaufik. Halfway through the second half almost. Malaysia 4, Solomon Islands 0. Yes, Malaysia Tahiti is going to be fascinating. I can't wait for that game. Coleman Macau. Alafa to Macau. Good movement by the Solomons. Whitney. Macau. Whitney. Leah Alafa. Stevenson with a towboat high over the bar.
Nice to think though, a side that's 4-0 down can sort of showboat it like that, Gordon. Still that confidence is there. You wouldn't see it in football, would you, when you're 4-0 down? It's a fine line, a very fine line between being on top and not sometimes. But Solomons have brought plenty to this game tonight, and just a little bit of, a few details here and there means it hasn't been their night, but I think overall an improvement on what we've seen earlier in the week.
Look at the fast feet of Jack Whitney. That was thrilling to watch.
Driver from Leah Lafa, and deflected against the post.
Well, if the Solomons do get one, I'm pretty sure the adrenaline's going to be pumping for them. And then there'll be a real handful to contend with. The confidence will reach unreal levels too.
I think it'll go down well with this crowd here tonight too, Gordon, if they score. I'm sure they will. Still 10 minutes left, plenty of time. Looking towards tomorrow as well, Gordon, just thinking about the workload as George Stevenson is on the ball.
Chance! Oh!
Leah Lafa was it at the far post, and Mod Tawfiq.
Oh, it's in at last! And the Solomon Islands supporters are up on their feet. It's Mika Leah Lafa. No less than they deserved. 4-1. Malaysia with something to think about now. Solomons. Womatalo. Well, players continued, and Talo has made the save. He's still reaching for it, and Solomon survived the scare. Hadi Mod Tawfiq was beaten at last, but he was in all sorts of... oh, it's hit the crossbar! Solomons in full flight. Ragomo might fancy another shot. Macau. Oh, and it's just volleyed wide by Leah Lafa. There's a real buzz around Truss Arena now. Solomons on the score sheet. They've got their tails up. Who's to say they won't get another? Ragomo. Oh, Leah Lafa through the legs. Well, Malaysia are punch drunk like a boxer up against the ropes, and it's the Solomons who are pummeling them at the moment. They've called for Khairul Modbarin just to try and take some of the sting out of this phase of play for Malaysia. Osafello, Whitney, Elliot Ragomo, and just some confusion between Elliot Ragomo and Sammy Osafello as the timeout is called.
Yeah, Malaysia looking for a break there, Gordon. And a devastating little spell from Solomons, but again,
I tell you what.
they didn't take all their chances. I think if Leah Laffer had scored to make it 4-2, we could have been heading for a pretty amazing last 9 minutes. But still, there's still time. The amazing thing about futsal, you only need a couple of minutes to tuck 3 or 4 away. And just great to see this Solomon Islands side returning to form as they take a timeout, and Dixon Cadell now just having a chat with the Kuru. I was just saying earlier, Gordon, looking towards the semi-finals, Australia have had quite a workload over the last week. They arrived on Friday to play the Trans-Tasman series with New Zealand, so they've had 6 games in 7 days, and tomorrow against New Zealand, I think it'll be an improved New Zealand, but they'll still have to find something a bit different to hold the Australians back. But if Australia make it to the final, whoever they play, it's going to have been their 8th game in 9 days, and we'll see how they go, if indeed they get there.
Indeed, these are all fascinating permutations to a tournament that is building up quite nicely to its climax. Playoffs tomorrow. Modali. Futsal headed it straight to Jeffrey Boulay. Ambia finds Modbarin. Now Samiosa follow. Clipped in and away by Modbarin. So just an opportunity for Malaysia to compose. And Lenson Basili's left foot volley ineffective. Basili. Elliot Rigomo through the legs. Oh, good save. Taufik. That was so important because Lenson Basili had arrived on the scene to just tap it in at the far post. And if the impression given is that Hadi Mod Taufik is the second choice goalkeeper for Malaysia, it just goes to show you what sort of depth they've got in that position, because Firdaus Razali has normally been skippering the team. Competition for place is hot in that Malaysian lineup.
Yeah, and good fortune largely been with Malaysia tonight. Could have been quite different. Solomon's still with 8 minutes left. If they can get one, perhaps in the next couple of minutes, we could be heading for a real grandstand finish.
Firdaus Ambia is the injured player. Malaysia starting to run out of bodies. Spray being applied to the ankle. Oh, it's a red card. Lenson Basili. He gets his marching orders and will miss the playoff match. Paul, was that for the transition onto the bench, or was it something said perhaps?
I think it might have been something said. It wasn't a second yellow by the looks. Hard to know, but that's the end of Lenson Basili's tournament, and just another unfortunate incident, I guess, in a largely unhappy tournament for the Solomons as they go down to 3 outfield players. Malaysia will push them hard for the next 2 minutes, or until such time as they score a goal, and then Solomon will go back to 4.
Good save by Talor. Futsal tried to sneak it in with a bench shot that crept around a defender, leaving Talor only a small amount of time to react. Here's Modbarin, Fadzil, Modali, Fadzil again. Maybe a sighter, Paul, of how Malaysia might face Tahiti.
Yeah, exactly.
Under similar circumstances.
Yeah, that similar defensive setup that the Kurukuru were employing there.
That's going to come up short. Mika Leolafa still interested, had a shot. He's hit Modali in the groin. Here's Abdul Qadir. Abdul Qadir keeps looking to shape as if to shoot. He's getting closer and closer. Fadzil is at the far post. Mohammed has crept in. Fadzil tried to link that through the legs of Leo Lafa to pick out Mohammed. Ambia. Modbarin. Well defended by Elliot Rigomo. Ambia. And the shot, a forlorn one. Malaysia 4, Solomon Islands 1. Oh, that's lovely. It just lacked a final ball. Sammy Osafello was available. Now Solomon's back up to a full contingent. Coleman Macau has joined the play. Oh, nice touch from Coleman Macau with the chest. Leo Lafa up against Modbarin. Oh, well played by Leo Lafa. That was a joy to behold. Five minutes, 38 seconds to go. Malaysia well on top in terms of the goal count, but it's been end-to-end stuff for most of this match, and I think supporters everywhere will have enjoyed what has been our feature match of this tournament today. There might still be more to come in this tale. Coleman Macau hits the side netting. Well, they've got to try and get the ball to Mika Leolafa as much as they can, I think.
Great tackle by Whitney.
Oh dear.
Well, they've butchered a few today, Gordon, and really that's as bad as any of them. Just not managing to link up with Whitney there, Leolafa. But as we've said a number of times, on a different day, they could have had 6 or 7.
Oh, there's no doubt Malaysia have been given a game of it. But that was a moment to agonise over for Coach Dixon Cadow. That was so close. All it required was just a punched ball along the ground, and Whitney could have just trundled that into an empty net.
Still believe if they can get another one next minute or so, it's not over. Just the way they've been attacking Solomons, they've still got plenty to offer this fixture.
Oh, and Abdul Kadir with the right foot volley. Whitney. Well, this performance will have restored some confidence in the ranks of the Kurukuru and their followers. Stevenson. It has lacked end product, but it's been pretty good stuff to enjoy and describe for you.
Yeah, they're going to be a handful for Vanuatu tomorrow in the 4 o'clock game, I would suggest, Gordon.
Yes. You have to suggest somebody's going to pay for this. The Solomons may well get 17 chances and score 17 times, you'd think, on the balance of the maths of it, but
yeah,
we'll see. Vanuatu have got a few tricksters and goal scorers of their own. Paco Rakom being chief amongst them. Here's Whitney. Stevenson. Strong player, George Stevenson. Nizam Modali is fouled.
up to 5 now. 5 fouls against Solomons, or is it 6? Yes, it must be 6. Heading straight to that 10-metre penalty mark, and David Lafai will take Anthony Talo's place in the goal.
Well, I'm keen to observe David Lafai's outlook on stopping 10-metre penalty kicks.
Yeah, well, he better come up with something special after what we saw in the earlier game.
Ronald Gayon had a marvellous array of Jerzy Dudek style postures. David Lafai looks as though he's going to go for a more technically correct approach.
Yeah, a little more subtle.
He's up against Khairul Modbarin. Good save. Oh, and a chance. Good save again.
Great work by Lafai. He's going to stay in for the rest of the game, I think. His first appearance at the tournament.
Leo Lafa. Oh, that's wonderful skill from Leo Lafa.
Doesn't really feel like a 4-1, Gordon, but that's the reality, isn't it?
That's right.
You have to take your chances.
Entertaining stuff. Could certainly watch 4 games of this type all day, every day. Leo Lafa, that was only inches away.
Tava Duro, the Tahiti keeper down there just behind the goal on crutches. I'm hearing that he will play tomorrow.
Well, under the circumstances, you can hardly blame him for suiting up. Hope that restores some balance to the Tahitian side and certainly not harm the player's health in any way for the long term. Leo Lafa. Whitney, nice play. Oh, George Stevenson, how did that stay out? George Stevenson denied by Khairul Modbarin. Nice play from George Stevenson, still going. Can't complete the mission. 2 minutes 14 to play. Malaysia 4-1 up and a chance for Modbarin. Sammy Osafallo defending. He took the sting out of the shot. David Lafai didn't get the opportunity to wrap his arms around the ball. It's a corner for Malaysia. Faisal. Abdul Kadir has another go at it. Abdul Kadir. Well, very rarely are defeats met with satisfaction by followers of any team, but if the Solomons do end up losing this, as looks likely, I don't think there's too many complaints about the quality of the performance in every respect but the goal scoring count. And here's a chance for Malaysia to really rub salt into the wounds. A minute 36 to go. Ambia. Straight to Boulay. Stevenson. Whitney. Is there a last piece of magic to be conjured up by Solomon Kurukuru? Stevenson. Away by Faisal.
That was a bit of magic from Whitney.
Certainly was. He's looked a different class player this evening. The flying goalkeeper employed. Last roll of the dice for the Solomons. The game may have slipped out of their reach, but the small crowd will be urging them on to get a second goal if they possibly can. Malaysia have almost taken care of the result with another winning performance. It hasn't been their best. Oh, and yes, well done by Elliot Rigomo. That's the risk of the flying goalkeeper, that you get caught out on a swift counter-attack. Rigomo thought about the first time hit. .25.5 seconds to go. Whitney up against Abdul Qadir. Osafello. Hit first time, it struck an arm according to Rigomo, and the attempted shot from Mohammed is wide. 8.4 seconds left. Well, I doff my cap to the Solomons. I think this has been a performance that's restored a little bit of faith in their abilities. They can be proud of the way they've approached this game, even though they're going to come up short. And Malaysia have finished top of the group. 3 wins from 3 games. What a game. What a entertaining match that was. Paul Tui, share your thoughts with us.
Well, like you, Gordon, I think Solomon Islands have brought a lot tonight to the game. They've been big heroes for a lot of the futsal community over the last 4 or so years, and it hasn't been their tournament. And tonight they turned up and they took it to Malaysia, but their finishing just wasn't there. Malaysia probably can count their blessings. They were well organised, they did well, and are good for their victory, well deserved, and they'll be a match for anyone in those semi-finals. But just pause for a moment to think about the Kurukuru. Great to finally get them to New Zealand. They've led the way for such a long time in this region, going to 2 World Cups, getting a win against Guatemala, but you just sense that they're going to have to head back to Solomon Islands at the end of this tournament and think again about how they can relaunch for 2016. Tahiti, they really are working hard. They've got a very comprehensive program, and they've got one eye on the World Cup as well. New Zealand, as we've seen, certainly not as technically proficient as Solomon Islands, but they've shown what having a good coach and being well organised can do. So a good game tonight, and we looked forward to it, and perhaps not the result that the Oceania fans wanted, but certainly we can look forward to tomorrow.
Well, let's just reflect on some of the results that have popped up today. Vanuatu 7, New Zealand Invitational 4, Australia 2, Tahiti 0, New Zealand 7, New Caledonia 2, and the match just concluded, Malaysia 4, the Solomon Islands 1. That means for match day 4, The playoff for 7th is between New Zealand Invitational and New Caledonia. The playoff for 5th is Vanuatu up against the Solomon Islands, a real Melanesian derby there, while New Zealand and Australia, the Trans-Tasman derby for a place in the final, and Tahiti taking on Malaysia in what promises to be another fascinating tactical joust between two very contrasting styles. So that's all for you on match day 3 from the OFC Futsal Championship Invitational 2013. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us through our OFC TV YouTube channel and through our platform with Summit Sports. I'm Gordon Glenn Watson, and on behalf of Paul Tui, we'll wish you a very good night wherever you are, and we'll see you again tomorrow.